Hi guys, welcome back. So there's quite a big difference to this selection video because the Ireland match, Ireland v Italy, is now postponed. So not cancelled, it's gonna happen, but it's postponed. So the team I had picked is kind of a bit irrelevant now, and the next game for Ireland's actually going to be France, and then they're going to have to play Italy later on. When that is, well, we don't know. But I'll tell you what, let's have a look at the team I had picked to face Italy. Now, I thought this was a good opportunity for Ireland after a poor performance against England to shake the team up. Now, why it's a good opportunity is you're not directly dropping players because they probably would have rotated a bit for Italy anyway. So you can kind of change the team without sending too harsh a message to players, I guess, but still shaking them up a bit and giving game time for much needed combinations that I think are going to take Ireland forward. Because we did see against England that if you beat them physically, match their kicking game at least, then they haven't got a lot else tactically yet. They were running off 9, England were knocking them back, they didn't have a lot more. So anyway, this is what I've gone for. I whacked the team up on the side. I would have gone with the second string front row, if you like. I'd have gone for Delan to go with Ryan, and Ryan have a go at captain. Even though Sexton's going to be on the bench, I still think that's a good opportunity. Look, this team is plenty good enough if they're motivated to beat Italy at home, for sure. So I don't see a problem with changing a lot of players, and I don't see much benefit in just sticking with the team that lost to England. Anyway, it would have been Deegan van der Fleer and Doris in the back row, so the new guys, the young guys in the back row, Cooney and Byrne getting a go, Earls, Conway and Addison coming into the back three, Farrell having a go at 12 with Henshaw, and then the normal guys on the bench if needed. So that's what I would have done, so let me know what you think of that and what you would have done. Now, it's a bit different because what now I think should happen for France is they probably can't just chuck in a load of those guys against France and hope they're going to go okay because they just haven't had the game time. It would be a risk. So this is how I see Ireland shaping up to face France. They can't just chuck in a load of new guys against France, in France. I think that would be far too risky. They could do, but I don't think it's a wise call. So first up, there's the team on the side to face France. Kilcoyne obviously comes in for the injured Healy. Plus Kilcoyne's probably been due a start with his excellent performances, so that's fine. Sticking with Herring and Furlong, I think that's sensible. Now alongside Ryan, I think Henderson needs to come back in, and they need to ramp up Henderson because he is capable of fantastic performances, but he's also capable of being okay. So I still think that's the best second row partnership. Then in the back row, they need Doris. I really think they need Doris. He's a special young player. Stander, I think, needs to stay because you do need that bulk, and he has had a good start to the Six Nations. And Amani, I think, was pretty good last game, actually, and he's done some good stuff, so I'd move him to 7. Van der Fleer's been okay, but he hasn't had the impact he would have liked. So I'd go with that back row, for sure. Scrum half is a hard one. Fly half would be hard, but Sexton's the captain, and you just can't drop the captain for a game of this magnitude, especially a new captain like that. It would be shattering for confidence. Murray for Cooney for Murray, I think it's just too early because Cooney hasn't had the chance to start and prove himself, so I just don't think you can do that. Plus Murray and Sexton obviously know how to play together, and surely they're not going to play as poorly as against England, you'd hope. In the centres, Aki and Henshaw really have to carry on. I don't see any option there with Ringrose injured. In the back three, I think Stockdale misses out, probably from the 23 entirely. He's just made a few too many mistakes. He needs to learn, needs to grow. But I think at this stage, Earls and Conway are definitely your best wingers. Conway was pretty tidy against England, actually. So I think he starts and Earls looks sharp and he's got the experience. With Lama, The 15 shirt is his, he just needs to be given the time to make it his own. Sure, he didn't have the greatest game against England, but I don't see value in changing him. Then on the bench, pretty standard, it's going to be Kelleher, McGrath, Porter, Toner, Van der Fleer covering the back row, Cooney Byrne, but I would put Addison in there as a bit of a plan B. If Ireland do need to stretch the game, chase the game, without having to change their entire shape, you can put Addison into 15, pull the ball behind to him, shift it a bit wider or have him left and right and just change it up a little bit that way. So that would be my team to face France. Let me know what you think about the postponed game, the team you would have played for Italy, and now the team that's going to have to be selected for France. I mean, it's a long wait to play, so they're going to be fresh. You know, there's swings and roundabouts with waiting that long. Anyway, let me know what you think on Ireland. Let's talk about England versus Wales. Well, even if the tournament is disrupted by the coronavirus, England versus Wales is just a fantastic standalone game. Many Welsh fans say that it doesn't matter what happens in the Six Nations or even the year, as long as they beat England. It's a huge game, can't wait for it. So what do I think England should select? Well, here's the team on the side. Now, Mako's going to be still missing through family issues, so fair enough, it's between Genge and Marler. And I think for this game, as opposed to Ireland, England do need to be a bit quicker. Eddie Jones selected a team to face Ireland. He thought they were just going to play quite straight off 9, and they did, so they just literally bulked up, got all the second rows in, beat them physically. Against Wales, sure it's going to be physical, but Wales definitely will move the ball more, as they have. They will definitely offload the ball more. England will have to scramble a fair bit more, and they won't just have those square-on tackles they had against Ireland. So this team is a horses for courses team. It's a bit quicker. That's where I think they should go. So Genge starts, get the dynamic guy on first of all. Marler's there as backup. George, I think, starts anyway. I think Cowan-Dickie should be back to be on the bench. It's a good combo. Sinclair staying on. So a very quick, skillful front row. Itoje going in with Laws. Now, Itoje's in his prime. He's just playing the best rugby he's really ever played in the World Cup, and now still can give away a penalty, but he does live on the edge and he has to always learn to tread that line carefully. And you can't drop Laws after his fantastic game for Ireland. I still think he's better at second row. He won a load of line-outs against Ireland, although I do think that's because he was the option that was unmarked, so they just kept going to him. But anyway, a bit harsh on Cruz possibly, but I think they need to go for the two second rows and then just a quick back row, with Curry going to 6, Underhill 7 and Earls at 8. Now I doubt Eddie Jones will do that because Curry's probably going to persist at 8, but I think that extra speed will help scrambling against Wales, trying to get a few turnovers very quickly. You can't drop Underhill, of course, his tackles have been unbelievable. Can't drop Curry, and I think Earls is the quickest to come in. Ludlam's got a chance as well. At half-back, I don't think you can change. Young's had a much better game against Ireland. Of course, the pack was on top, so that helps. Farrell, Manu Tuolangi, Slade, or if Slade's not fit, JJ. I think that's England's best midfield, and I know Ford Farrell has been going fairly well, but I still think if they're fully fit, the Farrell, Tuolangi, Slade midfield is the best, so I just want to see it. Plus it's got a bit more threat, a bit more running threat in it. Hopefully Watson will be fit. If he is, that solves a lot of issues in the back three. He can go to wing with May on the other wing and Daly at 15. Keep Daly at 15. He's been going very regularly there and had an excellent game last time out. And then the bench as is there. Cowan-Dickie, Marler, Stewart. 2 second rows, not 3. 6-2 split, as that's been pretty consistent. Ludlam on the bench, although Wilson's got a chance. He's a very trusted back row for Eddie Jones. And then I'd go Hines and then Joseph or Slade, depending on who is starting. For Wales, now they're going to be desperate to win this game, not just because it's England, but of course they've only beaten Italy, so they're going to want to win this game, although it is away from home. Starting, I want to start Carey. It won't happen, I don't think, but I think he's the talent that Wales need. Give him a role, along with Owens and Lewis. I want to see that. Like I said, Don't think it will happen. Assuming Corey Hill's still not available, Baldwin, Alwyn, Jones I think is clearly their best second row. And for the battle of the number 6, well, Moriarty still wins for me. He loves a battle against England. I think Moriarty is the man to go for, with Wainwright covering kind of every position on the bench. Tipuric Faletau making up the back row. Now, at 9, who do you pick? Gareth Davis, Thomas Williams, Rhys Webb? Well, out of the 3, we've had enough games now, I think, to decide, in my opinion, quite strongly that Thomas Williams is the best 9. Gareth Davis just makes a few too many mistakes. Thomas Williams is as quick as him for sure, and Rhys Webb just hasn't played enough rugby recently. Well, I do think he's found a club now. I think he's going to Bath, something like that. Anyway, Dan Biggar will love facing England away. He's the sort of guy you want in this sort of game, so obviously him. Parks, because there's no really other choice, even though he didn't have a great game last time out. And Tompkins, I think, has done enough to keep hold of that 13 shirt. Just needs to obviously be a bit careful of pushing it too far sometimes, but he is the sort of player that Pivac wants in that 13 shirt. Now, Adams is going to be out with an ankle injury. That's a big miss, but hopefully that void will be filled, and then some maybe by Liam Williams if he is fit. Williams and McNichol and the wings, Halfpenny at fullback. North's probably going to miss it through concussion protocol anyway. Then on the bench, Elias, Wyn-Jones, Brown, Rowlands, Wainwright, Gareth Davis, the 9 on the bench, Jared Evans of course, and then some experience to round off that bench. I think Amos, very strong, quite experienced actually, and also can cover a lot of positions. So that's my England and Wales team. What do you guys think of those? On to Scotland. Now they've got a chance to derail France's Grand Slam. Of course, Scotland's results haven't been great, but they've shown potential. I hate to say it, because I always say it, but that is true. So what should their team be? Well, I think Sutherland, McInally and Fagerson should continue. Sutherland's been a bit of a revelation, to be honest, for Scotland. McInally and Brown, it's quite close, but I think the dynamism of McInally, if he's on form, wins. Toulis and Cummins, I don't know if Gray might return for this game, but Toulis and Cummins. Ritchie's been playing well. Watson's been class really, if on the losing side, but you know, he's a quality player, over the ball, out wide, wherever. Bradbury is probably the best 8 they've got, although he needs a big game, and he's up against Aldreet, who's been unbelievable, so he needs to step up. Price with Hastings, of course, but can these halfbacks match the French wonder kids? I mean, Price and Hastings are good, but they've been nowhere near Dupont and Intermac. Anyway, on the in the centre, I'm going to bring Hutchinson in. I think you've got to bring him in to unlock that defence. Johnson's been solid, but Hutchinson can be special. So Hutchinson and Harris, the 2 H's, I think they've got a chance of doing something special. Kinghorn and Maitland and Hogg, the same back 3. It's very dangerous. I think you put Hutchinson in there and it could transform that Scottish backline, and to be honest, what have they got to lose? Then on the bench, Brown, Dale Nell, Gilchrist probably, Matt Fagerson, George Horn, and I'd bring in Weir actually to cover 10. Weir's actually been playing really well for Worcester, the best rugby of his life actually, you know, and he can come on, can control a game. He's got a real level head on his shoulders, so I think he'd be a good addition actually to the squad. And then McGuigan covering the rest of the backs. So let me know what you think of that Scotland team. Is it good enough to upset France? Okay guys, I'll catch you next time out. Again, if you want to get any rugby gear, use the links below, use the code up there to get 10% off, and I'll catch you next week for another video.